Hello, my name is Chloe. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing to you my November book haul. So I have about 30 books here to show you, which I definitely didn't intend to haul that many. I wish I could blame YALC. So I went to YALC in November, which is to blame for more than half of these books, but still, I didn't need to acquire the rest of them, did I? So I'm going to run you through the random purchases I bought myself, lovely gifts from friends, and then the different categories of things I got from YALC. If you haven't seen, I did do a whole video dedicated to YALC, so I will link that down in the description. But if you just want to see the books I got, then you can stay here. I'm not always the best at it, but I will try and timestamp in the video so that you can skip the YALC books if you've already seen that content. But without further ado, let's get into what I picked up at YALC. I think I'll start off with the freebies, any ARCs that I won or got in my goodie bag. So the first ARC I acquired was Spellbound by Georgia Layton. This was in the goodie bag that I got with my ticket, and it is a retelling of Sleeping Beauty, but Sleeping Beauty never goes to sleep. There is no enchanted sleep for the princess and no handsome prince to save the day. Just three women who together concoct a desperate plan of misdirection that changes the course of all of their lives. It's kind of a strange one, isn't it? Because I didn't even try to win this ARC, I was just given it. So it's not going to be a #1 priority for me to read, but it does come out in April next year. So I have a little bit of time to work it into a TBR, and I'm very grateful that I was given this. An ARC that I won was Dangerous Girls by Lisa M. Sylvan. This one was like a complete game of chance, but I will tell you how I kind of won it. So there is a map, and it was like A to H, maybe like 1 to 10, and you had to pick a coordinate, like a battleships kind of thing. So Ash was in front of me, picked a square, and I saw the woman's face when she checked her answers and was like, oh, it's like 1 away. And I knew it was 1 away because she was just like, oh no, but her face changed as if she was like, wait, is that the one you said? So as soon as I went up, I was like, the one right next to where Ash just said, and I got an ARC. So I wouldn't have won this if Ash didn't go in front of me and have that happen in that order, but it just so happens that I managed to just pick up on the reactions of the person on the stall. So this says, everyone loves a fairy tale until they realise they're the villain. A dark and deliciously deadly tale of magic, secrets and slow burn romance. Part addictive gothic fantasy, part heart-racing murder mystery. I am quite clueless, but it sounds really cool. From what it's telling me, it sounds cool. And again, I'm very grateful to have this. The final ARC that I won was Watermoon by Samantha Soto Yambao. But this is actually coming out in January, so very, very soon. And I'm not going to be able to get round to it by then, I don't think, but I will be trying to get to this as soon as possible. This is also signed. Well, there's the signed bookplate in here. It says, have you ever made a choice that you regret? Would you sell those regrets to find inner peace? But who are you without the memory of who you once were? And who will you become? Apparently, it is kind of Studio Ghibli-esque. That is what the person on the stall told me. So I'm just very intrigued. And also, they were giving out Little Moon's ice cream, and any book that you can relate to Little Moon's ice cream, it's got to be a fun time, right? Very grateful to have won this one. Again, game of chance that actually was completely random. So as I've said before, very grateful to have this. The final freebie from YALC is not a whole book, but I am classing it as a book for this haul. It is All Better Now by Neil Schusterman. So this is a sample extract, and it's actually a 150-page extract rather than just like one chapter like you normally get. I also have a postcard, so it's coming February 2025, and this is signed by Neil Schusterman. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it to YALC, so he sent these with the signed plates as just a, you know, sorry I can't be there. But a 150-page sampler means a hell of a lot, and I'm going to read this if I enjoy it. Obviously, if I read the first chapter and I don't like it, I won't be ordering the book. If I've read 150 pages, I can just jump in at that point in the finished copy. It says, a virus is spreading. Those who catch it become profoundly happy, but happiness can be dangerous. It's really making me think, it's not going to be the same, but it's making me think of that horror movie Smile, which I don't think it's going to be like that. But again, I've said it before, very happy to have this. So let's go on to the ones I bought at YALC, and I'm going to go in price order. That's kind of how I'd organise them anyway. So the first one we have is Powerful by Lauren Roberts. I actually can't tell you much about this because I haven't yet read Powerful, which this is the like novella that comes between Powerful and Reckless. But I decided to grab it because it was £3. So there's not really much more I can say on this. It's a fantasy romance of some sort, and this is the novella that comes after the first book. It was £3. What was also £3 was Us in the Before and After by Jenny Valentine. I picked this up right at the end of YALC along with Powerful, and it sounds like a very dark and upsetting YA, which is like my favourite kind of YA to still read. It says, at the start of a long hot summer, best friends YALC and Mab face the fallout of a sudden death and the lifelong consequences of a single tragic act. An intensely emotional story that raises questions about love, ghosts, and the unshakable bonds of friendship. I just thought it sounded like horrifically sad. Gorgeous, heartbreaking is what Laura Bates has said. So I think this is going to break my heart, and I'm kind of down for it. I then have 2 books by the same author. I have Signed, Sealed, Dead and Win, Lose, Kill, Die, both by Cynthia Murphy, and both of these are signed. Again, both these were £3. So we have this is a signed copy, and this is a signed copy. So these are both YA thrillers, and I like to go into YA thrillers not knowing everything about them. This one is about a school for like high achievers, so Morton Academy. Students are selected based on academic excellence. Someone is determined to clear their path to the top. So that sounds really like the vibe of YA thriller I enjoy. And then we have this one which says Moving Can Be Murder. Welcome to your new home in Shorehaven. We've been waiting for some new blood. So yeah, both sound kind of horrific. I'm sure they'll be great. The final £3 book I grabbed, there were a lot of £3 sales by the end of the day, is Your Time Is Up by Sarah Norton. This one sounded very intriguing to me because it is based in real time. It's a read in one sitting, real-time thriller set over the course of an A-level exam. I don't even know what the rest of the thriller is. Just the fact that it's set during an A-level exam is terrifying enough. A-levels were horrible. Never ever wish that I'd have to redo that again. One has a secret, one of them saw. There's blood on the papers. Who will take the fall? It sounded like a good time. We then have a book that I got for £5, which is again a very good deal, is Welcome to Dawley Hall by Alison Greaves. And I was kind of seeing mixed things on this. I kept seeing the girl's face on the cover, and then like on Goodreads it didn't really sound like my cup of tea, but on the blurb I had it sounded good, but on a bookmark it didn't. So I was kind of like umming and ahhing, but something about it just made me want to give it a go. It says Mark Vogel is like the older brother Stefan never had, but one day he disappears without a trace. A year later, after encountering a woman who looks near identical to Mark, Stefan becomes obsessed. Dozens of young men have disappeared over the years, many of them students at the Royal College of St. Elmsworth, and most of them troubled or unruly. Why are students going missing? Who are the women who resemble them? And what is their connection to the selective student accommodation at the edge of campus, Dawley Hall? So it just sounds very odd, and I love an odd book. Okay, now we jump from £5 all the way to the astronomical price of £7.50 for a hardback, which is still amazing, obviously. So we have Every Time You Go Away by Abigail Johnson. And this, again, sounds like a heartbreaking YA contemporary. I've also just realised I do have more books from YALC, but I've classed them in the adult pile. That's why I haven't got to them yet, but they were cheaper than this. I've basically tried to organise this list a bit too much. So here we go. This says, after 4 years apart, can they find their way back to each other? 8 years ago, Ethan and Rebecca met, two troublemaking kids sharing secrets and first kisses in a treehouse, until Ethan's mom returned to take him away. Each and every visit, his only goodbye was a flower on Rebecca's windowsill. 4 years ago, Ethan left for the last time to take care of his mother, who has struggled with addiction his whole life. 2 years ago, Rebecca was in a car accident that killed her father. She's been learning to navigate life using a wheelchair ever since. Now they discover if their hardships have torn them apart or will bring them closer than ever. And doesn't that just sound completely heartbreaking, and something I'm going to cry at and love? Yes. Then the other one I got in the 215 deal is Aisle 9 by Ian X Cho, and this looks odd. So I've either got scary YA thriller, heartbreaking contemporary, or odd. This Black Friday will be the darkest yet. Ever since the world filled with portals to hell and bloodthirsty demons started popping out of the reg, like the register, the reg. Jasper's life has gotten worse and worse. A teenage nobody with no friends or family, he is plagued by the life he can't remember and the person he's sure he's supposed to be. Jasper spends his days working as a checkout clerk. Oh, I just said clerk like American, not Clark like English. Checkout person at the Here For You discount mart, where a hell portal in aisle 9 means danger every shift. That's all I'm reading. There is a portal to hell in aisle 9. Odd. And last but not least, in the YA category, we have Heads Will Roll by Josh Winning. If you hear her knock, it's already too late. So this book is fully championed by Amy McCall, and as I was stood with Amy, Josh was signing books and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go buy one. Again, I don't just want to keep reading the blurb out of all of these, so I think this might be the last one I do it for, but let's go with it for this. It says Willow is in need of an escape. A former sitcom star, she's been publicly shamed on the internet after posting something she really shouldn't have. She checks into Camp Castaway, an adults-only retreat based at an old campground in the woods. So it's adults only. So maybe this is adult. I mean, it was at YALC. So is it like it's about adults but written for teenagers? Probably. It's the first night and the campers gather round the fire to tell some ghost stories. That's when Willow hears the tale of Knock Knock Nancy, a local urban legend about a witch brutally beheaded in this very woodland. They say her restless spirit knocks on doors late at night. If you answer, she'll take your head. Willow doesn't believe in ghost stories, but the next day a camper has vanished under mysterious circumstances. And then that evening in her cabin, Willow hears it. Knock, knock, knock. I just think that sounds so good. Like, that is the level of horror that will keep me up at night, I'm sure. Very happy to have this. And although I didn't buy it in time to get it signed by Josh, he did seem like a very lovely guy. So we then have the books, 2 of which are definitely adult and 2 of which I'm classing as adult. All of these were £5 each. With these 2, I'm classing adult as would I want a teenager in my life to read it? No. So we have Your Fault and Our Fault by Mercedes Ron. These are books 2 and 3 in the Culpable series it's called, but it starts with My Fault. And that is a stepbrother romance. Me and Cole watched the movie. I haven't actually read the book yet, so I shouldn't have bought these, but you know, it happens. But from the tone of the movie and what I've heard about the book, I wouldn't feel comfortable actually handing these to a teenager, but they were sold by, oh, they say young adult on the spine. Are you joking? However, book 1, which I have on the shelf, does not say young adult, and I just don't feel comfortable classing these as young adult. So as my little part in the bookish influencer, not that that's me, but in my little part in that community, I'm gonna say it's okay to class these as adult. I don't know how sexual the content actually is, but from what I know, it is pretty much sexual content. It's kind of like the After series. I'm not seeing that as YA, I'm seeing that as adult. So maybe like new adult? I don't know, but I got these. Very excited to read them actually. It sounded very negative in that, but I'm excited to read them personally as a fully grown adult. The next 2, which are definitely adult, but the publisher had a stand at YALC, so we're selling these as well. We have Mixed Signals and Business Casual by B.K. Borison. These are books 3 and 4 in the Love Like Farms series, and I am just very happy to have finished this series off physically. So the first book in this series is Love Like Farms. And I really did enjoy that book. It is about a woman who buys a Christmas tree farm, and it is a friends to lovers romance. Book number 2 is like a second chance, did have a one night stand romance. I haven't actually read that one yet, but then whichever way these go, this is a buttoned up chino wearing corporate man, an untamable tattoo artist who's easily distracted. And this one is a bashful man who can rock a Hawaiian shirt, a hopeful and dreamy bakery owner. Enough sweets to give you a cavity and your favourite Inglewild residence. Very much looking forward to actually finishing this series off. Whether I do a whole reading vlog where I just read these books, potentially. Also, just the aesthetic of these is so pleasing. Okay, so next up, I'm going to include this book because I can't remember if I included it in my October book haul. I don't think I did because I was waiting for my new copy. So I have here, spoiler for my Q4 Evernight unboxing, but this is the last book that I've received from Evernight as I have now cancelled my subscription, basically because of getting this book. But we have An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson. I am going to give it a chance. I am going to read it. However, this is a fantasy, like a dark fantasy book rather than a horror by everyone's review that I've seen. It is another like prestigious school kind of book. It's dark academia. There's magic. It obviously appears very dark. Everything about it is like this dark underworld kind of tone. I have got the whole unboxing video where I get this book and just a slightly different edition because mine was printed a bit wrong. I do need to haul it, so here it is. Then we'll take a break from books I bought myself and go to ones that I have been gifted by lovely, lovely friends. So the first 2 were from Victoria, who was doing an unhaul, and I very quickly snapped these out of her hands. We have Assistant to the Villain and Apprentice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayra. These just seem like really sarcastically funny books, down to this little frog on the back. So just to read the job advertisement here, it says, assistant wanted. Notorious high-ranking villain seeks loyal, level-headed assistant for unspecified office duties, supporting staff for random mayhem and terror, and other dark things in general. Discretion a must. Excellent benefits. So when Victoria was unhauling these, I decided to scoop both of them out of her collection. They just sound really fun and I wanted to give them a go. And then I got some early Christmas presents from my gorgeous friend Kayla. She sent me 5 Years From Now by Paige Toon, which sounds utterly heartbreaking. For the next 2 decades, fate brings Nell and Van together every 5 years as life and circumstance continue to divide them. Will they ever find true happiness, and will it be together? It's giving me vibes of like slight magical realism in romance. I don't think it is by any chance, it's just circumstance, not magic. But it's about Nell and Van who meet each other every 5 years. So it's kind of like November 9, where they meet each other every November 9th. But I just, yeah, it had those kind of vibes. That's why it was on my wish list, and I'm very grateful that Kayla sent it my way. She also sent me Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood, which has had amazing reviews that I've seen. And it's just gorgeous. Like, it's, oh, gorgeous. This is about Bal, or Belladonna. She hasn't lost her magical spark, but she hasn't seen it in a while either. Balancing work at her beloved London bookshop, with handling her toxic boss and concealing her witchcraft from those around her, Bal is burnt out. But when her 30th birthday brings a summons from her coven and a trial that tests her worthiness as a witch, Bal risks losing her magic forever. Apparently it's got found family, a dash of romance, and an uplifting message about self-love. It's just adorable. We have 6 more books that I bought myself, basically on a whim, and I'm okay with it. So the first one we have is the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. I commented in last month's book haul that I'd bought the Christmas Tree Farm, which is right there, but I hadn't actually bought book 2 yet, so I did grab this one. I seem to have a very good chat in my vlog when I hauled this one. Everyone was giving me a lot of comments about it. But yeah, we have the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, then the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, then the Christmas Tree Farm. I then bought 2 cowboy romances that I've seen doing the rounds. I have Holding the Reins and Training the Heart by Paisley Hope, and this one actually has sprayed edges, so that's pretty cool. It says escape to the Wild West with a sizzling cowboy romance that will leave you breathless. And I am not going to lie to you, have I looked into this more than cowboy romance? No, I don't want to. I know I'll be down for a cowboy romance, regardless of the extra stuff that's going on. Okay, so next up I have the 2 books that I said in my vlog. If you think these sound good and you're expecting a Christmas box from me, maybe don't buy them yourself, because I might have bought you them too. But they just sounded interesting, and when browsing for books for other people, I was like, I'm gonna get these for myself. So the first one we have is The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins. Deception leaves a killer legacy. And again, because I've said like I've bought it for other people, I won't completely just talk about it all again. We're looking at Ruby, who was North Carolina's richest woman and its most notorious, the victim of a famous childhood kidnapping and a widow 4 times over. It just sounds like a very dramatic mystery, and I'm here for it. I then grabbed myself another Frida McFadden. We have The Perfect Son. I think kids are creepy. I obviously don't have any of my own. Some of my friends have kids, and I will encourage the fact that they're adorable 99.9% of the time, but tell me that this kid stood here is not creeping you out. Kids are creepy, especially like in the dark or when you're not quite awake. So I find kids creepy. So here we go. There is a thriller about a kid. Is it even being creepy? I don't know. A high school girl has vanished from their quiet neighborhood, and the police suspect the worst. Erica's teenage son, Liam, was the last person to see this girl alive. So yeah, kids, actually even teenagers are scary. So creepy kid thriller. And last but not least, I have the only one left. That is a weird one to have left to the end, by Riley Sager. I know nothing about this book. It's a Riley Sager that I didn't own yet, and I've collected every single one of these thrillers. Genuinely, I'm not going to read the back. I'm not, because I know it's just a Riley Sager to add to my Riley Sager collection, and I'm okay with that. So let me count the books here to just reassess the damage. So I have 28 books. That doesn't feel that bad. Feels alright. 16 of those were from YALC, so only 12 of them are from After. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. No, in all seriousness, this is a completely outrageous haul, and December's probably going to be about the same because it's Christmas, these things happen, but I'm really happy with this haul, and I'm very happy to have brought all these books into my collection. Where they are living though, I don't know. I got an extra bookshelf on moving into this apartment, and I now can't fit a single book anywhere, so got a few too many books. But there we have it, guys. Please do tell me if any of these books sound appealing to you, if you have any thoughts or feelings on them. I'd love to chat to you about them down in the comments. But for now, that is all I have time for, so thank you very, very much for watching this video. I really do hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!